Hey everybody, you're very welcome back to In Forest the Lands for this bonus video, 4.5 in the What's in My Backpack series. I'm Joe Price, Wilderness Skills Instructor, and if she gets any further away from me, she might as well be back at home, Ida Olsson behind the camera. I hope they can hear you. But in this one, I wanted to cover over these kind of external pouches, the stuff that falls into the miscellaneous groups that I just attach to my backpack for when I'm going out for a day in the woods or a day that may possibly turn into an overnight should the weather get a bit inclement. So join us as we dive in. So first of all, on my person, I always carry a stout belt knife. A knife is a very personal choice and it's very suited to the environment and what you plan on doing outside. I carry the Field & Steel Banshee. It's one of my favorite knives of all time. It's kind of designed for the environment that I am in, and as always with knives, carry the one that suits your environment and your skill level, but it's the Banshee. As always, there'll be links to everything down below, and if you choose to support us, this is a way that you can. Most noticeably on the outside is a set of gloves. These are made by SUUNTO or SUUNTO out in Finland, but any set of good leather gloves is fine. These are made of elk skin. I keep them attached to the outside of my backpack on this locking carabiner from NITEIZE. This is the number 4. I get asked about this more than I do my gloves, but it is the number 4 carabiner. This is great and really quick for clipping onto your belt, and it also has a locking mechanism here. This is just an extra belt loop that I can put on my belt. If you have watched the belt loop video, I'll leave a link to it below. But I like having these attachment points just more so that I can change my clothing setup as I move along. So this can go on my belt and I can attach my knives, my gloves, or such accoutrements to it. I have a spare carabiner on the outside. The one thing I find is that there's never enough carabiners in the woods, but you also don't want to carry too many of them. So I just carry a couple of extra ones on the front. I have modified my SAVOTTA backpack using the bungee cord kit that SAVOTTA make, just to give me some extra options should I choose to lash some things like branches, my poncho, etc. to the outside of my pack. The pack itself is a SAVOTTA JÄÄKÄRI M. I have medium and small pouches on the outside of it attached to the molly. The small pouch on the front is just basically stuff that I want to get to really quick. I always find it's best to have a practice with your backpack when you're out and about in the woods. Don't take my setup for gospel. I hope it inspires some ideas, but the best way to set up a backpack like this is the way that I did it, and just getting some boots on the ground. So I have kept a journal and a field notebook of every time I've gone out. I don't want to go into my bag, so every time I've gone into my bag, I've kept notes about what I want, why I went into the bag, why I had to dig it out, and then I try and attach them to the front. Not mariachi band, but I try and do it. So in the front pocket, I have my compass. It is a SUUNTO MC2 Global. Very sentimental one to me. This case was made by Field & Steel. You can see his embossed logo on the front of it. Steve hates leather work more than a politician hates being honest. So the fact that he made this for me is actually pretty cool. It's very, very sentimental. When I was on my nav journey and my instructor training, the SUUNTO MC2 was a gift from Dave Canterbury when we were teaching together in Italy. It's a fantastic compass and I love it. Next in there, in the pouch, I have a spare piece of cordage just for lashing stuff together or a little bit of projects, but I kind of have cordage everywhere in my backpack. And then I have my UCO light. I like this UCO light. It's one of the most versatile torches that I've used. It stretches out into a lantern, and it also comes with this piece of shock cord on it, or bungee cord, so I can attach it to various points on my backpack. Normally, I just stick it up under my tarp, under my guy line, and it acts like a little lamp. It has a push button on the back. It's not got the best lumens in the world, but I use it more as a lamp than I do a torch. But it's better to be looking at it than looking for it. And that's what lives in the front pocket on my pouch. On this small pouch here, sometimes I swap it out for a tourniquet pouch, but at the moment I'm using it for my multi-tool. It's the multi-tool pouch from SAVOTTA, and they do a separate tourniquet one. I carry the LEATHERMAN OHT. This is a very controversial carry, I've noticed, whenever I bring it out in videos. Because yes, LEATHERMAN makes some of the best tools out there, but this one I find is just perfect for me in the woods. Normally I got gloves on, I'm working in the snow. It's very easily deployable. I actually have some bits of deer still in the jaws. It also has interchangeable carbide cutters. It locks, and it's just a lot easier to work in the snow and in the inclement weather. It doesn't have 1,000,001 tools on it. I'm not repairing a vehicle in the woods, but it has easy access, one-handed rotating tools that I need for when I'm in the woods. On the medium side pouch here is my medical pouch. Medical pouches are like fingerprints. What you do in the woods, they should be always tailor-made, and I work a 3 medical pouch system. I have my personal medical kit, which I always carry in my hip bag, and then I have a medium-sized kit should I be around camp or working with large tools or axes. But then if you work outside with chainsaws or you work outside with different tools, your medical kit should meet your needs and also never exceed your training. My medical pouch is the HELIKON-TEX medical pouch. I love it because it's got this grab handle on the top of it. Again, we got a carabiner. I keep my shears in the back, a Sharpie pen for writing down stuff on the front, and then it opens out nice and flat. I love medical kits that open nice and flat. I am a haemophiliac, so in here I just have an awful lot of stuff to help with bleeding, small boo-boos, big boo-boos, but basically for what I use in the woods. I always carry a tourniquet on me. This one's just in here because I'm floating around. If you notice, there's no axes or heavy tools in this video, but should I be using axes, heavy tools, chainsaws, I would swap this tourniquet out, prepare it, and place it in a tourniquet pouch on the front of my pack. But right now, it's totally fine for living in there for what we're going to do. My medical pocket. On the far side here, this is a kind of miscellaneous pocket. A day like today, when I'm only doing 6-7 hours out in the forest, I keep my hip pouch in here. And if you want to see the contents of my hip pouch video, go check that out in the series. And I keep a spare high-vis orange stuff sack in here for material gathering or for signaling. I like when you can keep a low profile for high speed, low drag, but then I think that you should complement it with high-vis accessories for signaling or for gathering or for drawing attention to you, or so you just don't lose it. So I try and keep oranges and blues, and you see those patterns repeating themselves. But this is just a high-vis stuff sack that I keep in here. If I was going out for a longer period of time, say I had an intentional 24-hour period on the ground, I would load this up with food, coffee. You can fit MREs in here, freeze-dried meals, 2, 3, 4 of them for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And that's what I would swap out for this. When we turn around here and we open up the cover, I like the SAVOTTA pocket because it doesn't open on the bottom like some backpacks do, and then you have the zip and everything falls out. The zip is nice and perfect up the top. And here I just keep stuff that I want for when I'm building my shelters. If my backpack is on the ground and if this lid is open, chances are I've chosen a place to stop and eat, or I've chosen a place to set up camp, or chosen a place to get out of the weather. So I keep 2 pre-prepared ridge lines up in the top just because I want to get my tarps up. I also have ridge lines in other part of my bags. I keep the backpack cover for if it's raining and I just want to cover my backpack up. I do want to replace this with an orange one at some point to help with signaling and high visibility should I need it, but I'd probably carry both. And then I keep my main head torch. This is my main head torch. It's LUMONITE. Ida showed me these when we first met and I absolutely fell in love with it. It holds a great charge, works well in these cold conditions. They're designed for kind of ultra runners and mountain runners. It does me totally fine, and the lumens are great. Has a good solid cap. I don't like twist torches or fiddly bits, just a big old button that I can press on. It has 3 modes, no strobe, and I absolutely adore it. And that is all that I would carry on the outside of my backpack should I be in the woods. On my person, I tend to carry a pocket knife, my wallet, and my small first aid kit, which is only just about this size, for some boo-boos should I be mincing about the place. So there you have it, folks. That's what's in the miscellaneous pouches on the outside of my backpack and the accoutrements that I choose to attach to it for a 12 to an emergency 24-hour period. If you want to check out any of the links we do and the people we do it with, they're down below in the video. And as always, myself and Ida will catch you in the next one.